All right, welcome everyone. I do suggest 2 blocks. Go ahead and have them set up at the front of your mat. That way they're strategically placed. I don't plan on using those until we're standing. Hope you're feeling good in your bodies. We are going to be not doing a very strenuous, practice today, unless your hamstrings are really tight, because I'm planning on working with pyramid pose. The pyramid keeps coming up in different references that I'm reading and things that I've been listening to, and I just thought, I can roll with pyramid. And we're going to do it several different ways. There are a lot of ways to do pyramid pose. We're going to do it 3 different ways today. So there's actually more ways to do it than that, but it's all good. So I want you to consider, I know a pyramid is more 3-dimensional, but I want you to think of it as that kind of triangular shape that it mimics, and those 3 points representing mind, body, and spirit. Because those 3 aspects are what we're really working with when we're here on the mat. Yes, it's a mind-body practice, but the goal of the practice is to set the soul free and to realize that we are more than this shell of body and more than just the intellect of our mind. And so hopefully you get that. If you haven't already, you will. I think most of us come to yoga probably for the physical benefits at first, just to get more limber or to lessen any pain or discomfort in our body. And then we start to learn it so much more than that. We're going to be going into a couple different meditations at the end of the practice. So I want to save that until a restorative pose, and then we'll do a seated variation of a meditation after we restore at the end. So we're going to go ahead and start on our bellies. We're going to be in crocodile pose. And in crocodile pose, we're lying in a prone position. The feet are apart. The arms are crossed in front of us. Prop up your chest and then lower your head so that you're resting on your brow. Let your glutes soften. And if you feel a lot of tightness in your low back, feel free to rock your hips gently from side to side. Sometimes that will help to settle it down. And in your mind's eye, I just want you to reflect on the fact that there are so many pyramids located around the earth. They're not just in Egypt, even though those are the ones that are most famous. They show up with the Mayan culture down in South America and in Mexico. There are pyramids in Japan. There are pyramids that have been found under the ocean and even in Antarctica. It's pretty spectacular when you think about these ancient civilizations being able to build these mammoths of buildings, and the materials weren't even close by, and the wheel had not even been invented yet. If you look at Mayan and Egyptian hieroglyphics and engravings around the pyramids, it suggests that they have or had a higher technology in which to work with. And so it's kind of mysterious what happened to that technology. What happened to all this knowledge? And how did they know to build these pyramids at different places around the world when at that time we weren't as interconnected as we are today? So they had to be. So there's this whole mystique around the pyramids. I even read the other day that the ones in Egypt were covered with this shiny material, so that if you were far away, it looked like a tall skyscraper glass type building. And there was a huge earthquake that came and shook all that away. So just picture in your mind's eye one of those shiny pyramids. Think of a triangle being like right at your brow, where the base is going from one eyebrow to the other, and the peak is moving up towards your hairline. And begin taking some deep breaths in and out through your nose. As you take the deep breaths in and out through your nose, feel your belly swelling on the inhale and deflating on the exhale. On your next in breath, let's go ahead and slide the legs closer together to the point where the big toes almost touch. And then slide your hands up underneath your shoulders. Roll the shoulders back away from your ears. Squeeze the elbows in towards your side ribs, kind of mimicking grasshopper legs. And then inhale, roll up to cobra. And then exhale, rolling back down to the ground. Just flow with your breath. Twice more. Inhale, fire up the legs, lengthen through the thighs, shins, and feet. And then exhale, gently roll it back down. One more. Inhale, rolling up. And exhale. When you start to come down, slide your forearms out in front. We're going to be in Sphinx. We can't talk about pyramids and not do Sphinx pose. So really sink your elbows into the ground, uplift your sternum, and just take a moment to make sure that your knees are lifting off the floor from the action in the lower body, that your glutes are firming up. Part of the foundation is the pubic bone. So power down through the pubic bone and feel the tucking of the tailbone. Retract the belly in if you need more support for your low back. Get the crown rising in a lofty way. Consider how when it's cold outside, we get frigid, our muscles tense, especially the shoulders and the neck. So create lots of length and space here. Then affirm mentally to yourself, I rise joyfully to greet each and every new opportunity. Now on your next breath, I want you to crawl the knees forward, underneath the hips. And we're going to do some cat-cows from this position. So as you inhale, roll open into cow. And as you exhale, round it out like cat. And then continue this movement. Inhale, sinking the belly. Opening the heart and throat. Then exhale, scooping in the belly and bowing the head. One more. Once you bring a little bit more flexibility to the spine, keep the shoulders engaged, your forearms pressing, but curl your toes under, elevate your knees off the floor, and take this variation of dolphin. The head is hovering. You're gazing back towards the feet. Allowing the breath to stream in and out. It's interesting when you study the pyramids, there were streams of water coming into the pyramid. There were chambers that were holding certain types of gases in the pyramids. There were hidden corridors still being discovered. And there's one in particular that has a tunnel that goes 50 miles away. Let's go ahead and sink down to the knees. Lift the elbows off the floor. Now uplift to downward facing dog. Feel the difference. Feel the extra ascension you're gaining by pressing through the palms, straightening out through your arms, lifting through your seat. And equally press through the feet so you're getting the pinnacle of the pose even higher, creating this shape like a pyramid. Let's take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. When you're ready, begin to walk and travel the feet forward towards the top of the mat. So we've been warming up the upper body, and we've had some strength in the legs, but now let's gain a little bit of a stretch. So ground down through the soles of the feet. Hinge from your hips. Draw the navel in, but let the upper body hang like a rag. Let the breath easily come and go. On your next in breath, root down to soar the arms out and up. Feel free to come to upward worship. And as you exhale, bring hands down to prayer position at the heart. All right, we're going to begin a sun salutation. Inhale, let your arms circle wide and up. And as you exhale, fold straight down the middle. Palms stay together for an active centering, and then they release apart. Inhale, we're going to go ahead and take the right foot way back. And this is where you may want to go ahead and grab those blocks. Now remember, the blocks can turn to various heights. Pick a level that's good for you. Stretch the thighs in opposing directions. Keep the head up. And then on your next in breath, you're going to straighten the front leg. As you exhale, you're going to roll the right hip around towards the front side of your mat so that you can feel the out seam of the front leg. And then on your exhale, we're going to lunge the knee, lift the head up. Inhale, we're going to straighten the leg, roll the right hip to tee it off with the left, and bow over and down. And we're just moving back and forth between these two postures. All right, the next time you come into that lunge position, you're gonna hop the back foot just a baby step forward, and you're gonna ground that heel. Now, once that back foot is flat, you can determine here what height should the blocks be now, because it does change it up. Your left hip is being driven towards the back of the room, and your right hip is rolling towards the front of the room. External rotation with the left thigh, internal rotation with the right thigh. Now stack the hands on the blocks and lengthen through the vertebrae. Feel as though your heart is shining forward and out. Do some deep breaths. That'll help to take you within, to do some deep investigative work within yourself. There are chambers in the pyramids that even hold treasure because they thought they could take the treasure with them in the afterlife. I want you to consider the hidden treasure that's found in the chambers of your own heart. On your next out breath, see if you can double over. If that's too much, you can stay as you were. So pyramid pose stretches the hamstrings, the IT band, the hips, and it can bring extension to the spine. And another variation will even open up the shoulders and the chest. On your next in-breath, slowly come back up, lunge the knee, wiggle the right toes back, separate the blocks away so you can bring the palms to the mat and step it into plank pose. Once you're in plank position, shift forward, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, rise to up dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale, move forward to plank. Exhale, descend your knees, untuck the toes, roll down and take your Sphinx. Have you guys been to the pyramids by chance? I haven't either. You have? Is it amazing?
Yeah, I mean, it is, but there's also a lot of like tourism and stuff around it. Like,
Yeah. When did you go?
it was before the year of spring, so
Okay.
we were, I don't know how it's changed since then.
Yeah. It's on my bucket list. All right, be like that beautiful Sphinx. Have the eyes just looking at one place. Affirming, I rise joyfully to greet each and every new opportunity. All right, on your next inhale, we're going to curl the toes. We're going to lift to forearm plank. Now, this is where you may even want your hands to be in fist, or you may enjoy your hands lacing together. So you can pick 1, 2, or 3 of those. Now, from plank, we're going to tilt the hips up, travel the feet slightly forward, returning to your variation of dolphin. Again, the hands can be flat, in a fist, or laced up. Now, this even dolphin creates the shape like a pyramid. Now, bring the palms down, press up and back to downward facing dog. Just shifting your weight from one side to the other. And on your next inhale, let's walk the right foot all the way up between the hands. We'll find those blocks to frame that front foot. We'll try to ensure that that front knee is aligned with proximity over the ankle. Inhale, press through the ball of the right foot, straighten out the leg. Square the hips. So you have the internal rotation with your back thigh, external rotation with the front thigh. And then we'll start to move back and forth. When you breathe out, you can lunge the knee. When you breathe in, you can straighten out the legs. Standing Padmanasana. Gliding back and forth between the two. And then the next one, we're gonna pause and hold. And when you hold it, you can hop the back foot forward to ground the heel so that you are making more of the Parsvottanasana. Parsvottanasana doesn't actually translate to pyramid, even though we call it that. It translates to intense side stretch. So in order to get the side stretch, cinch your right hip in. At the same time, you're driving the hip back. Rolling the left hip towards the front. You can create open space between each vertebra, or if you're ready to bow over, you may. Meditate on the sound of your breath. Ready, inhale, start to look ahead in the heart, lunge the knee, wiggle the left toes back.
separate the blocks away, step the back foot forward, and drop in. Uttanasana. Now sweep the arms to your sides and up. You'll see you're gathering everything you need. Then bringing the hands down to prayer position. Arms. Moving into sun south. 2, inhaling. Exhale, humbly bow. Once you fold over, we're going to inhale, step the left foot back this time. Once we step the left foot back, you're welcome to bring the blocks in. We're going to have that front knee lunging initially. Gazing straight ahead of the eyes. Just opening up those back hip extensors. And then we're going to hop the back foot forward, plant the foot down. Slightly rotate the toes, not all the way parallel to the back of the mat, but slightly angled towards the side of your mat. Place your right hand now to the shin bone. Let your left arm just hang free. Grip your feet into the floor and tighten up through your knees. As you inhale, we're going to fan the left arm up towards the sky. Triangle or Trikonasana. So think of the feet as being the base. And the fingertips up high being the pinnacle of the pose. And that's where we're directing the energy. Let this represent mind, body, spirit. And then exhale, lower the left hand down towards the ground. Inhale, sweep it right back up towards the sky. Take your time. This does require some balance and attention. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep it right back up. Hold at the top. Firm in here. Energy and joy flow down to me. As you exhale, you're going to lower the left hand, and the right hand's going to come to the hip or the waist. You're going to tee off the hips. You're going to extend long over the front leg. Now we're starting to open the shoulders and the chest. If you want to roll the shoulders back and keep the elbows winged open, you can dive a little deeper without the assistance of your hands or blocks. Notice it fires up the legs more. Breathe that vital life force into your body. All right, exhale, let's release the hands down to the blocks. Spin away from the back heel and take a revolving twist, taking the right arm out and up. Now that's going to deepen that IT bench stretch. Good, one more deep breath in. Beautiful form, you guys. Exhale, lower the right hand down, lunge that right knee, separate the blocks away, stepping into your plank. Exhale, tip forward, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, the upward facing dog. Exhale, rock and roll back to downward facing dog. Inhale, move forward to plank. You can come down through chaturanga to the belly, or you can land your knees on top of the toes and come down to sphinx. I'm going to be easy does it today. Lengthen your legs, pull up through your core, pull up through your chest, and find the right angle for your neck. Because even though we're lifting the head up, it doesn't mean we have to crank the neck, especially since it's winter time and we're holding that extra tension there. Or at least I am. I don't know if you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. All right, curl the toes under. We're coming to forearm plank. That's gonna really activate the triceps and the deltoids. Make sure your quads are firm. And then walk the feet forward, lifting the hips high to dolphin. Feel free to drop your knees to come to the palms, or maybe shifting your weight, stacking onto your hands, returning to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot's gonna step through. We'll find the blocks, we'll be in the lunge just for a brevity of time. Slowly start to straighten out the left leg. We'll hop that right foot forward and settle it down. And from here, we're picking up the hands, and the left hand's gonna travel to the shin. Find a good opening for that right foot, that'll help you with balance. And then the right arm just kind of hangs free. Now, if you want to take your left hand lower to your ankle or foot, you're welcome to. Inhale, we're going to slowly sail the right arm skyward, forming Trikonasana, triangle pose. I read somewhere years ago that 90% of Americans that have a corporate job develop sciatica at some point. And with that being said, triangle and pigeon pose are really good for helping to prevent, or they're a good antidote for sciatica. Now, on your exhalation, release the right arm down, just drapes. Remember, firm up your knees. Grip your feet to the mat. That'll help you stabilize as you reopen into your twist. Good, exhale, lower the hand down. Inhale, recreate, triangle. Affirming here, energy and joy flow down to me. Next exhalation, we're going to bring the right hand down to the hip, left hand slides up to the hip, and the hands to the hips can give us some information through touch here. Are they level? Are they even? We're trying to level out the sacrum as we fold. If you want to dive lower, feel free. Only if your body gives you that permission. We'll release the hands down. Spin away from the back heel, lunge that knee. Step up with that back foot. And fold and drop into your Uttanasana. Nod your head one way or the other, or one to both. You can roll out your shoulders. You may notice you can gravitate your heart slightly lower after working through the lower body. Inhale, let's come all the way up to the top to close this one out. Bringing hands to namaste at the heart. All right, we're going to do one more suns out. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, fold it down and in. Fold down. We're going to inhale, step the right foot back. Oh, did we forget to do the triangle?
You mean the reverse?
Yes, we forgot it. Let's add it in. Bring your blocks in. We're going to do that really quick.
Be on the ball of the right foot first. I'm glad I realized that. Sweep the left arm out and up. In my head, I was thinking about pyramids and how they tend to line up with certain stars and planets depending on their locations. And then I started thinking about ancient aliens. So that's where my head was at. I need to get more present. All right, exhale, lower the left hand down. All right, re-lunge that knee. All right, because we're gonna hop the back foot forward and we're gonna spill that heel down. All right, this time we're coming up away from the blocks. This time we're gonna take the hands to the hips and make sure that one is not heading, more ahead than the other. So once you get that corrected, lift your chest up, and I'm gonna give you an option. You can either cross your arms behind the back. Oh, that actually feels really good right now. With your right arm below. Or you can wiggle the hands together to reverse prayer hands. If you do reverse prayer hands, try not to get too loose in the shoulders. Keep them wide open. I'm gonna cross the arms because that feels really good today. Now, when you're starting to dive down, think about your right rib cage and your navel slightly coming over towards your left leg. So that'll keep the shoulders even. Now I'm smelling marijuana. There's someone in this building that smokes early in the day. It's not us. We're getting our natural high. All right, inhale, come halfway up. Release your hands. Lunge the front knee, wiggle the back toes back. Separate the blocks. Ground your palms. Step to plank. All right, rock it forward, tip it down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, rise, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, move forward, plank. Exhale, descend your knees, or come all the way down to low push-up until you're on the belly, and then you can lift into your Sphinx. You always have choices on your transitions. Squeeze the glutes, ground the pubic bone. Gaze straight ahead, like a Sphinx with those frozen eyes. All right, when you're ready, curl the toes. Inhale, take your forearms plank. Our tendency is to lift the hips higher, try not to. Now you can. We're lifting the hips, stepping the feet forward, taking dolphin. Mustering up more strength in the shoulders and upper body. Remember, if you need to ground your knees first, that's okay. Otherwise, shift your weight, come to flat palms, stretch back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, right foot steps through. You can lunge the knee to bring the blocks into play. We'll hop the back foot forward and down. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands up and stand. All right. So this is another way of doing it. We're going to open the chest and the shoulders. Make sure your feet feel stable. If you feel really wobbly, I kind of feel wobbly, you can widen the stance between the feet. Crisscross the arms the opposite way, or do reverse prayer hands. And then roll the left ribs or the navel slightly towards the front leg. Notice how the mound of the big toe may want to pick itself off the floor. Nail it down. Right hip cinches in. Let's release the hands. Let's lunge the knee. Let's wiggle the back toes back behind. Just in order to step the back foot forward and lower the head and the heart. Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer position. The eyes can be open or closed for the affirmation. It is interesting that both the Egyptians and the Indians also refer to a god. I'm speaking of the country India. Spoke of a god, a sun god named Ra. Now, this affirmation is not towards that. This is in general. To affirm mentally within. Salutations to the sun and to the awakening light within us all, and to the dawning of a much higher state of consciousness in all beings. Separate your feet, bend the knees, and we're coming into squat. So I mentioned that pyramid pose is really good for stretching IT band, hamstrings, hips. It's more the outer hips. This is going to start to target the inner hips. This is also great for the back. And as yogis, we want to try to have a plethora of ways to be able to get up and down from the floor. So that will keep us more independent, more mobile, more youthful. All right, we're going to bring the hands around. We're going to lower to our seat. Stretch the legs out. Flex the ankles. Reach the arms overhead. And then exhale, pour over into your Paschimottanasana. Inhale, slowly lift up. Now, grip a hold of your right knee from the underside just to bend it. Your left hand is going to grab the outside of the foot. You're going to lift the heel off the floor, and then you're going to shoot the leg over the straight leg at an angle. You're going to lift up through your chest, drop the left shoulder from your ear, and circle the right arm around behind your back. Exhale, unwind. Lower the right heel. Slide your left knee back. Take your right hand to grab the pinky toe side. Once you lift the foot, the leg straightens and crosses over the other. Rock the right shoulder away from your ear. Sweep that left arm behind your back.
Let's see, let's get into it this way. Slide your left foot under your right leg, so that knee's pointing straight ahead. And then cross your right leg on top. And you can heel toe that foot around. Try this way now. We're gonna move towards Gomukhasana, cow face. All right, before we do that, let's lift up energetically and fold over the lap. Because think about when we were in Sphinx pose, we were really engaging the glutes. And I want you to feel how this comes back into the outer stretch of the hips. And it also helps to move into the buttock area. So, uplift your left arm, turning that palm, bending from the elbow, using the free hand to tuck it in, and then the free hand comes behind the back, wiggles or slides up the spine. Maybe your fingers can latch together, but drop back into your seat. Fold the lids of the eyes down over the eyes. Breathe. So release the arms, wiggle it out. And you may be able to just lean back and swap the leg that way. Sometimes that's easier than how we got into it before. Lift up through the crown and let's fold over first. You might notice your piriformis on one side or the other. By the way, the piriformis is one of the things I work on with that Thai yoga massage coming up Friday night with restorative. My boyfriend has been seeing my post about that workshop, and he happens to be recording in Franklin Friday night. He's like, can I come? So next inhale, rise up, take the right arm skyward, bend from the elbow, and it may not want to stay close to the ear. So see if you can help it out. Left arm travels behind the back. Drop into your seat. Hold the eyelids over the eyes. Now gently release your hands. I want us to go ahead and move into our, we got a lot of inversions in. We do a lot of dogs and down dogs. I'm not concerned about doing another one. I would rather us move more into the meditational part. So let's go ahead and you can use the bolster long ways or short ways. You know, dependent on how it feels for your body and your neck. If your low back is unhappy, you can sit on a blanket. If your neck is unhappy, you can place a blanket below your head. So I really like this back bend for what we're gonna be doing, because the heart is higher than the head, but no worries if you need it to be the other way. We're gonna focus on 3 different points in the body. But before we do that, I want you to take some conscious breaths. Notice, by allowing yourself to control the breath, it helps us to let go of any excess energy. Even the sacred sound of the breath can help to open and activate the heart. We have unlimited potential that dwells within the heart. And so when we open and expand the heart through this breath work, we're allowing it to return to the light and the love that we hold here. And the heart is said to be the home of the higher self. We've already said that the body is the chamber that holds the vital life force. We're going to use a couple meditations today to elevate our frequency and to elevate our consciousness. And the 3 points that we're going to focus on is the heart, the third eye at the brow, which also helps to stimulate the pineal gland at the center of the brain. But the third point is going to be past the crown at the upper back side of the head. And this is called the cuneus. This is a part of the brain that allows for visual processing. This is the part of the brain that helps us to develop empathy and telepathy. So now take 3 breaths, and I want you to focus on breathing into your heart. The second 3 rounds of breath, I want you to breathe up into the midpoint of your brow. Setting your gaze here. And on the final 3 breaths, I want you to breathe up to that point at the upper backside of the skull, where you may even feel the weight of your head at rest. And then imagine that these 3 points are creating a pyramid-like structure, creating a connection between the heart and the third eye in this place of telepathy in the brain. Imagine it becoming a sacred pyramid that can turn form to light and light to form. That helps us to manifest our ideas and helps us to live out our purpose. that helps us to realign ourselves, to open up new doorways, so that we can have a greater impact on Earth. So that we can create positive imprints in our own life and in others. Listen to the outer Om beginning to play, but equally listen for the internal Om vibration within. Ready. Slowly begin to exit your pose. Gonna work on a seated meditation next. Come away from this restorative position. You're gonna use your bolster and sit at the edge. Ankles crossed. Shoulders soften. Spine extended. I want you to feel the broadness of your lap. How the knees turn out. Let that represent the broad base of the pyramid. Allow your chin to ever so slightly dip, just a hair, so that the peak of the crown of your head can rise, like the top of a pyramid. This past year, I have heard about a new angel, not new, but new to me. And evidently, this particular angel is brought up in Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. And the Essenes were one of these mystic groups that surrounded and lived close to the Dead Sea years ago. This is said to be the group in which John the Baptist was raised, connected back to the Christ energy. But Metatron is considered the angel of light. If you believe in angels and want to invite him in, calling to you, if you have a resistance to angels or don't believe in angels, just picture and imagine your body shaped like a pyramid. We're going to ask Metatron to create a pyramid of light around the body. I want you to picture the rays of light being golden. Create a golden grid of light shaped like a pyramid with horizontal lines, vertical lines, and the diagonal lines to create the slopes. Let the pyramid be like a shield of protection, an aura of light. Let it be nourishing and enlightening, comforting. And imagine that grid of golden light creating the connection between your heart, your third eye, kunis. Imagine this grid of golden light structuring around you and through you. And we're going to take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Exhale, breathe it down. Inhale, breathe from the base up to the crown. Holding at the top. Exhale, breathing it back down towards the earth. 3 more breaths. Breathe naturally. Let's join. Might the thumbs down to that place we were imagining a triangle between the eyebrows and moving up towards the hairline. We all be inspired to nourish our mind, our body, our spirit. The light in me honors and bows to the beautiful radiant light in each of you. Namaste.